Ma'am, this fake check isn't fooling anyone here. The words cut through Premier National Bank like a knife. Bank teller Brad Mitchell holds up a $47,000 check, waving it high for everyone to see. His voice is loud enough that every customer in line turns to stare. Dr. Denise Washington stands at the counter, calm and quiet. Her hands rest on the marble surface, but you can see her knuckles turning white. She's dressed in a nice business suit, carrying an expensive handbag, but Brad doesn't seem to notice any of that. Settlement from Meridian Tech Solutions. Brad reads out loud, making sure everyone hears him. Lady, I've never heard of that company. Trust me, I know every real business in this city. Then he does something that makes everyone gasp. Brad tears the check in half. The ripping sound echoes through the quiet bank lobby. He tears it again, letting the pieces fall to the floor like confetti. Other customers start whispering. Some shake their heads, others pull out their phones. A woman named Mrs. Rodriguez quietly starts recording everything, her live stream already picking up viewers. Manager. Patricia Bennett walks over from her office. Her high heels click on the marble floor as she approaches. She doesn't even look at the torn check pieces before taking Brad's side. What's the problem here? Patricia asks. But her arms are crossed, and she's looking at Denise like she's already guilty of something. Attempted fraud, Brad says proudly. Classic scam. They always come in right before closing time, hoping we won't have time to check things properly. Patricia nods like she's seen this 1,000 times before. 3 forms of ID, social security card, and proof of address from the last 30 days, she demands. Denise reaches into her purse and pulls out perfect paperwork. Driver's license, corporate ID, utility bill, everything they asked for. Her documents look official and expensive, but Patricia examines them like she's looking for problems. These look too good, Patricia announces loud enough for everyone to hear. Scammers are getting better at making fake IDs these days. The accusation hits Denise like a slap, but she doesn't react. She just checks her expensive watch quietly. It's 2:47 p.m. The bank closes at 3 p.m. and everyone seems to be moving extra slow. Security guard Jim walks over and stands behind Denise. His presence makes the whole situation feel dangerous. His radio crackles, and nearby customers jump at the sound. A young mother named Ashley pulls her twin daughters closer. The little girls don't understand what's happening, but they can feel the tension. Their innocent eyes are watching a lesson about how some adults treat people differently based on how they look. Mrs. Rodriguez keeps filming. Her viewer count is climbing, 15, then 37, then more. People in the comments are getting angry. This is racism happening right now, someone types. Call the news, writes another. Brad pulls out a laminated chart about check fraud. He points to different security features, building his case like he's some kind of expert. See these watermarks? He says, holding up the torn pieces. Too perfect. Real settlement checks have variations that prove they're authentic. His confidence grows with every word. Patricia nods along, encouraging him. The other customers stand around uncomfortably, not sure what to do. Mr. Thompson, an elderly man waiting in line, mutters under his breath, "Some people always cause problems." His words hang in the air, full of hidden meaning. Patricia makes a big show of calling corporate security. She talks loud enough for everyone to hear, turning Denise's private banking into a public spectacle. Yes, this is downtown branch manager Patricia Bennett. We have a potential fraud situation involving a large settlement check from an unknown company. The live stream explodes with more viewers. Mrs. Rodriguez whispers into her phone. Professional black woman being treated like a criminal at Premier National downtown. They destroyed her check and called her a scammer. Through all of this, Denise stays completely calm. She doesn't argue or get upset. She just stands there with a mysterious smile, like she knows something nobody else does. Her fingers drum once against the counter. not nervous, but patient. The clock on the wall shows 2:53 p.m., 7 minutes until closing time. But something tells you this story is just getting started. The bank lobby feels like a pressure cooker ready to explode. Patricia hangs up her phone call to corporate security with a satisfied look on her face. "Corporate security has flagged you for investigation," she announces loudly. "We cannot process any transactions until verification is complete. That usually takes 3 to 5 business days." She delivers this news like she's won some kind of victory. But Denise doesn't break down or get angry like Patricia expects. Instead, she does something strange. She smiles wider. "Interesting timing," Denise says softly. These are her first words since this whole thing started. Her voice is calm, but carries a strength that makes Patricia's aggression suddenly seem childish. Brad doubles down on his fraud theory. He calls his regional supervisor, speaking loud enough for everyone to hear. "We've stopped a major fraud attempt," he brags into the phone. "Fake settlement check for $47,000. The suspect claims it's from Meridian Tech Solutions, but we've never heard of that company." He pauses dramatically, stealing glances at Denise. He expects to see panic or fear, but her calm face seems almost amused. This only makes him more determined to prove she's a criminal. Meanwhile, Mrs. Rodriguez's live stream is exploding. Her viewer count jumps to 200, then 300. Comments flood in faster than she can read them. "This is discrimination in real time," people type. "Someone call the lawyers." Local news producer Jessica Kim gets multiple tips about what's happening. She races downtown in her news van, cutting through traffic while discrimination unfolds. Live on social media. Back at the bank, corporate headquarters starts getting alerts. Their social media monitoring systems detect unusual activity around their bank's name. Digital marketing manager David Park types urgent messages. "Developing discrimination incident at downtown branch. Live stream going viral. Need damage control. Now!" Jim, the security guard, positions himself more aggressively. He uses his training to block Denise's path to the exit. "Additional identification required," he demands, turning the marble lobby into an interrogation room. Other customers grow more impatient. Mr. Thompson checks his expensive watch and sighs dramatically. "Some people always create drama at closing time," he mutters, loud enough for everyone to hear. Ashley, the young mother, whispers to her daughters to stay close. Her protective instincts kick in as she senses danger, even if she can't explain exactly why. Patricia escalates the situation by threatening to call the police. "Attempted bank fraud is a federal crime," she declares, reaching for her desk phone. "I'm calling the authorities to make sure we follow proper procedure." Her threat hangs in the air like a weapon. She expects Denise to panic and confess or run away. The other customers shift uncomfortably, some moving away from what they think is criminal activity. But Denise doesn't crack. She calmly checks her phone, not frantically like someone caught in a lie, but methodically like someone confirming expected information. Her movements reveal expensive accessories that everyone keeps ignoring. Platinum credit cards, executive club memberships, first-class boarding passes peek from her belongings. These signs of wealth and success remain invisible to staff determined to see only criminal behavior. The live stream reaches 400 viewers. Mrs. Rodriguez provides real-time commentary. "They're threatening this professional woman with police for banking while black. Premier National Downtown Branch. Manager Patricia Bennett, teller Brad Mitchell. Her documentation turns passive viewers into activists. Several people start researching corporate contact information to file complaints. Brad finds new reasons to be suspicious through his amateur detective work. "This driver's license hologram looks altered," he announces confidently. "The corporate ID uses fonts that suggest forgery." He's actually critiquing real government and corporate documents with genuine security features, but his ignorance doesn't stop his confidence. Corporate security calls back and asks to speak directly with Denise. Patricia hands over the phone like it's a challenge, expecting confusion from someone caught in criminal activity. Dr. Denise Washington, Employee Identification MW47291, corporate account holder since 2019, Denise states clearly into the phone. Her response includes specific details that surprise Patricia. Real verification codes and security answers that suggest legitimate banking history rather than fraud. The corporate conversation continues with Denise providing additional information with perfect accuracy. The security representative's tone shifts from suspicious to professional as they access her actual account records. "Thank you, Dr. Washington. Your verification is complete," the voice says professionally through the speaker. Patricia's confidence wavers at this unexpected development, but Brad maintains his fraud theory. "Smart criminals research their targets," he explains to anyone who will listen. "They gather real information to support fake stories. That's what makes them dangerous." On the wall-mounted TV, Premier National's promotional videos play on repeat. Premier National, your success is our mission, scrolls across the screen while staff treat their customer like a criminal. The irony isn't lost on livestream viewers, whose anger grows with each contradictory advertisement. The clock shows 2:58 p.m. 2 minutes until closing. 2 minutes until everything changes. PM arrives like the final bell at a boxing match. Premier National Bank's official closing time should send everyone home, but nobody moves toward the exit. The discrimination has reached its peak, with Denise Washington standing calm in the center of a storm she's about to turn into a hurricane. Denise pulls out her phone with the careful precision of someone who has been waiting for this exact moment. Her fingers move like a corporate executive used to making important calls. She dials a single number, 1 ring, 2 rings, then a crisp, professional voice answers. "Janet, this is Denise." Her words carry across the marble lobby with crystal clarity. Every word is chosen for maximum impact. "Execute Plan B. Yes, right now. Full implementation." She pauses, listening to the response while keeping eye contact with Patricia. "Confirmed. All systems go." The call ends with a soft click that somehow sounds louder than Brad's earlier check-tearing theatrics. Denise turns toward the security camera mounted above Patricia's workstation. When she speaks, her voice projects with the authority of someone used to giving boardroom presentations. "For the record, I am Dr. Denise Washington, Chief Technology Officer of Meridian Tech Solutions. Today is March 15th, 2024, and I am documenting systematic discrimination at Premier National Bank's downtown branch for corporate review and legal proceedings." Each word lands like a precision strike. Patricia's face begins changing from bureaucratic confidence to dawning horror. The company name Brad, dismissed as fake, now carries weight that settles in her stomach like concrete. Meridian Tech Solutions. She's heard that name recently, somewhere critically important, but panic prevents her from remembering where. Brad's fraud conviction shakes for the first time. "Corporate executives don't use neighborhood branches," he insists desperately, clutching the torn check pieces. "Real CEOs have private banking relationships." His amateur psychology can't account for executives who choose accessibility over exclusivity, especially when they're about to own the institution they're visiting. Mrs. Rodriguez's live stream has become appointment viewing for nearly 600 people. "Something big is about to happen," she whispers to her phone. "This woman has been too calm, too confident. She knows something they don't." The wall-mounted television flickers momentarily, drawing everyone's attention to what looks like technical difficulties. But instead of returning to Premier National's promotional content, the screen switches to breaking news that will destroy every assumption in the room. Channel 7's anchor appears with urgent graphics blazing behind her. "We interrupt. Regular programming with breaking business news. Meridian Tech Solutions has completed its historic $2.3 billion acquisition of Premier National Bank, creating the region's largest technology-driven financial institution. The words hit the lobby like a physical force. Every conversation stops. Every breath catches. Every assumption crumbles as reality reshapes itself around this new information. Patricia's hand freezes halfway to her desk phone. Brad stares at the screen like someone watching their world end in real time. The anchor continues with devastating precision. The acquisition finalized just moments ago will be overseen by Meridian's Chief Technology Officer, Dr. Denise Washington, who brings 2 decades of experience in corporate transformation to her new role. Brad's face goes through shock, disbelief, and pure terror as the torn check fragments in his palm suddenly represent something far worse than suspected fraud evidence. They now document his discriminatory destruction of legitimate corporate compensation from his new ultimate boss. A professional headshot appears on screen. The same confident expression, the same intelligent eyes, the same composed demeanor of the woman standing at their counter. "Holy Mother of God," Mr. Thompson whispers. His earlier prejudiced comments now echo in his memory like character assassination evidence. Patricia begins hyperventilating as mathematical reality crashes over her. She hasn't just discriminated against a random customer, she has publicly humiliated the executive responsible for her bank's survival, her branch's future, and her own continued employment. The news coverage provides additional context that deepens the horror. Dr. Washington's signing bonus for completing this acquisition was $47,000, which she planned to deposit at Premier National before assuming her new executive responsibilities. The anchor's words transform Brad's fraud accusations into documented discrimination against legitimate corporate compensation. Jim, the security guard, slowly backs away from Denise as understanding floods his consciousness. His tactical positioning and intimidation techniques have been directed against someone who now holds institutional authority over his professional existence. Ashley's daughters provide the only innocent commentary in the lobby. "Mommy, the nice lady is on TV," they exclaim with childish delight. Their pure joy contrasts sharply with the adult panic spreading through the room. But the television isn't finished destroying careers. Premier National's regular programming resumes with their newest advertising campaign and the first face. To appear sends shockwaves through anyone still processing information. A confident teenager with familiar bone structure and the same quiet strength radiating from his intelligent eyes. His voice fills the lobby with painful irony. "Hi, I'm Jordan Washington. Premier National Bank helped my family achieve our dreams through respectful professional service that treats every customer with dignity." Brad's remaining color drains, completely as facial recognition connects mother and son through shared features that should have been obvious from the beginning. The bank's own diversity campaign features the child of the woman they've been criminalizing. The silence following the TV revelation lasts exactly 7 seconds before Patricia's desk phone erupts like a corporate crisis volcano. Regional Director Thomas Bradley's number flashes urgently, followed by 3 more lines lighting up simultaneously. "Patricia, what in God's name is happening at your branch?" Bradley's voice explodes through the speakerphone with barely controlled panic. "I'm getting emergency calls from board members, our parent company, and media relations. Tell me this viral live stream showing discrimination against Dr. Washington is some kind of misunderstanding." The speakerphone broadcasts his desperation to everyone in the lobby, eliminating any possibility of private damage control. Mrs. Rodriguez adjusts her phone to capture the corporate meltdown unfolding in real time. Her audience now exceeds 1,200 viewers as the story achieves critical viral momentum across multiple social platforms. Denise steps forward with the measured precision of someone about to deliver a corporate presentation. "Mr. Bradley, this is..." Dr. Washington, I can provide you with exact details of what happened here today. Her voice carries calm authority of someone used to addressing executive leadership during crisis situations. Dr. Washington, I am profoundly sorry for whatever occurred. Bradley's voice cracks through the speaker. We had no idea you were conducting business at our branch today. His apology reveals the corporate mindset that prioritizes important customers over universal professional standards. That's precisely the problem, Denise responds with surgical precision. Professional service shouldn't depend on customer identification or perceived importance. Every person who enters this institution deserves dignity and respect regardless of their appearance, background, or assumed financial status. She continues with data that transforms personal humiliation into corporate liability analysis. Today's incident has been witnessed by over 1,200 live stream viewers and documented extensively through multiple recording devices. Conservative estimates place Premier National's discrimination lawsuit exposure at approximately $50 million in compensatory and punitive damages. Patricia begins hyperventilating as the financial scope of her catastrophic error becomes quantifiable. Her discriminatory actions haven't just created human resources problems, they've generated massive legal liability that could impact the entire acquisition process. Brad interrupts with desperate justification attempts. The check looked suspicious. Settlement payments from unknown companies trigger our fraud prevention protocols. Denise addresses him directly with the patience of someone explaining basic concepts to struggling students. Meridian Tech Solutions completed its due diligence on Premier National 6 months ago. Your fraud prevention training should have included recognizing legitimate corporate entities, especially those involved in your own acquisition process. She produces her phone and displays corporate documentation with the efficiency of someone who anticipated this exact conversation. Current Meridian stock price, $847 per share. Premier National's valuation is entirely dependent on successful integration with our technology infrastructure. Today's documented discrimination violates Section 15.3 of our acquisition contract. The contract reference sends visible tremors through Patricia's composure. Acquisition agreements contain specific clauses about operational standards and discriminatory practices that can trigger deal modifications affecting thousands of jobs. Section 15.3 establishes zero tolerance for discriminatory practices during integration periods, Denise explains with academic precision. Violations trigger immediate management review and potential restructuring of acquisition terms, including personnel decisions and branch operational status. Bradley's voice becomes increasingly desperate. Dr. Washington, what can we do to address this situation appropriately? Premier National is committed to making this right through any necessary corrective action. Denise checks her expensive watch with deliberate theatricality, allowing tension to build before delivering her ultimatum. Mr. Bradley, you have two distinct options for resolution. Option A involves comprehensive institutional reform, including immediate policy implementation, mandatory bias training, and systematic monitoring protocols. She pauses for effect while her audience, both physical and digital, absorbs the gravity of corporate accountability in action. Option B involves Meridian Tech Solutions, recommending acquisition of a different financial institution that better aligns with our commitment to inclusive customer service and professional operational standards. The threat lands with devastating precision. Walking away from Premier National would cost Meridian approximately $47 million in acquisition fees and legal expenses, significant but manageable for a technology giant. However, it would cost Premier National everything: 2,400 jobs, 47 branch closures, shareholder value destruction, and institutional collapse. All because your employee, she gestures toward Brad with clinical detachment, couldn't treat a black woman with basic professional respect during a routine banking transaction. Patricia attempts damage control through immediate scapegoating. Brad is suspended effective immediately, pending full investigation, she announces. His actions don't represent Premier National's values or training standards. Personnel. Decisions are insufficient. Denise responds with authority of someone who has restructured multiple corporations. Systematic discrimination requires systematic solutions. Individual punishment addresses symptoms while ignoring institutional causes that enabled today's behavior. She outlines her requirements with the precision of someone delivering corporate consulting recommendations. Full diversity audit conducted by external consultants. Mandatory monthly bias training with measurable accountability metrics. Real-time customer service monitoring through digital feedback systems integrated with employee performance evaluations. Bradley agrees to everything with the enthusiasm of someone whose career depends on immediate compliance. Absolutely, Dr. Washington. Whatever resources you need for comprehensive reform, we'll implement every recommendation with full corporate support. But Denise isn't finished establishing accountability. Additionally, Premier National will donate $500,000 to local civil rights organizations as demonstration of commitment to community repair. The financial penalty transforms personal discrimination into community investment, creating positive outcomes from discriminatory behavior while establishing precedent for future accountability measures. The clock shows 3:17 p.m. In 43 minutes, Denise has her board meeting to officially take control of Premier National Bank. The real work of institutional change is about to begin. 6 months later, Premier National Bank stands transformed beyond recognition. The marble lobby where discrimination once flourished now features digital diversity displays showcasing real customer stories and live accountability metrics. But let's go back to that afternoon first to see how everything ended. 20 p.m. The corporate reckoning begins with surgical precision. Security guard Jim, the same man who blocked Denise's exit 30 minutes earlier, now stands behind Brad Mitchell with handcuffs ready. Company policy requires immediate escort for terminated employees, Jim announces, his voice carrying none of the earlier intimidation. The irony tastes bitter as he realizes he's arresting the colleague who dragged him into this disaster. Brad's hands shake as he stares at the torn check pieces scattered across the marble floor. His final paycheck calculation appears on Patricia's computer screen, 2847. The exact number matching Mrs. Rodriguez's live stream viewer count, a mathematical poetry that will haunt him forever. Tattooed years old. $2,800, 28 seconds of footage that destroyed my career, he mutters, while security cameras document his walk past the same customers he humiliated. Patricia Bennett's termination arrives via corporate phone call that echoes through the lobby speakers. Effective immediately, pending investigation into 18 months of documented complaints, Regional Director Bradley announces. Her 18 years of employment disintegrate in 18 words. But the most devastating consequence isn't professional, it's personal. Patricia's teenage daughter calls crying from school after classmates share the viral video. "Mom, everyone's saying you're racist," the girl sobs through the phone. "My friends won't talk to me. Why did you do that to that nice lady?" The generational damage of discrimination spreads through social networks that don't forgive or forget. Dr. Washington observes the institutional collapse with clinical fascination rather than emotional satisfaction. Her expression suggests someone conducting a corporate case study rather than experiencing personal vindication. Systematic problems require systematic solutions, she explains to the trembling staff. Individual punishment addresses symptoms while ignoring institutional causes. The reforms begin immediately. External diversity consultants arrive within 30 minutes, funded by Premier National's emergency budget allocation. Complete operational audit. Dr. Washington instructs with executive authority. Every policy, every procedure, every training manual gets reviewed and restructured around dignity-based customer service. Mrs. Rodriguez concludes her live stream with 2,400 viewers as the story achieves regional news status. "Y'all just witnessed the most epic comeback in banking history," she tells her audience while filming the ongoing transformation. "This woman didn't just get revenge, she restructured an entire institution to protect future customers." The Respect and Dignity Protocol becomes premier national policy within hours, establishing zero tolerance for discriminatory behavior with consequences tied directly to employment status. Technology-driven accountability, Dr. Washington explains, prevention rather than documentation. Mr. Thompson approaches Denise with genuine humility, his earlier prejudiced comments weighing heavily on his conscience. "Ma'am, I owe you an apology," the elderly man says quietly. "My words were wrong, and I'm ashamed of my behavior." Ashley uses the resolution as a teachable moment for her daughters. "The nice lady helped everyone remember that all people deserve kindness," she explains, while the twins nod with innocent understanding. Local news producer Jessica Kim arrives for exclusive coverage as the story transitions from social media viral content to mainstream journalism. Dr. Washington has demonstrated that strategic intelligence defeats emotional reaction, she reports. Systematic change through institutional leverage rather than individual confrontation. The torn check pieces become the centerpiece of Premier National's new sensitivity training program. Preserved under glass like museum artifacts, they serve as visual reminders that individual bias creates institutional liability. Now, 6 months later, the transformation is complete and remarkable. Brad Mitchell works part-time at a small credit union, his viral infamy making corporate banking positions impossible. Patricia Bennett relocated to another state, her teenage daughter's college essays about learning from family shame eventually earning admission to Stanford's social justice program. Jordan Washington evolved from reluctant advertising spokesperson into powerful youth advocate. "My mom taught me that every system has rules," he tells packed auditoriums, "and those rules can work for everyone when we understand how to use them." Mrs. Rodriguez's live stream documentation became a civil rights template nationwide. Her real-time coverage demonstrates how smartphones transform private discrimination into public accountability. "Your phone might be someone's lifeline to justice," she advises millions of followers who now document bias incidents with professional precision. The personal transformations prove most remarkable. Mr. Thompson, whose casual racism contributed to that toxic afternoon, now volunteers with local civil rights organizations. "Age doesn't excuse ignorance," he tells other seniors. "We're never too old to examine our assumptions and choose better behavior." The Washington Protocol spreads across the banking industry like wildfire. Systematic bias detection, real-time customer feedback, and economic consequences for discrimination. Her methodical approach proves that the most devastating response to prejudice isn't emotional reaction, but strategic intelligence applied with surgical precision. Harvard Business School requests case study development based on the incident, recognizing Dr. Washington's approach as an innovative model for corporate accountability. This story reveals timeless truths about power, patience, and justice. Strategic thinking defeats emotional reaction. Systematic solutions address systematic problems. Individual dignity requires institutional protection. Sometimes the most effective response to discrimination isn't raising your voice, it's raising the standard for everyone who follows. Have you witnessed discrimination that went unchallenged? Share your story in the comments, because real-life stories create change and your voice matters. Document injustice when you see it. Your phone might transform painful stories into powerful tools that protect others. Every system has rules that can work for everyone when we understand how to use them strategically. The most powerful response to discrimination isn't anger. It's intelligence applied with precision to create lasting change. Hit subscribe for more stories of strategic resistance and quiet revolution. Ring the notification bell because these stories of dignity and determination need to reach everyone who's ever been underestimated. The revolution continues with every documented incident, every strategic response, every transformation of bias into systematic change. Join us in making discrimination economically unsustainable and dignity mathematically inevitable.